Hey, Scott. Not a whole lot. Thank you very much, buddy. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Andy, I am fantastic.
All right. Yeah, Jamie's been dealing with a few power issues around the house, so hopefully he'll hang with us the whole hour here, or 45 minutes, however long we go. Thanks, everybody. Looks like we have people filing in still. This is the Trading Studio. My name's Andy, and that's Jamie and Scott. And hey, let's dive in. I think you guys are gonna like today's little episode. So let's dive in and take care of the disclaimer real quick. We are a content publisher here at Trade Ideas. This is for educational purposes only, so nothing that you see or hear should be construed as investment advice. If you are looking for that, seek out somebody who is licensed, and that would be a broker or a registered advisor. All right, the agenda for today, we're going to do market recap. At least we got some things to talk about now. We're not sitting at all-time highs, close to it, but still we have some areas of concern, and we'll talk about that. Let's see, and then Jamie will take over the Holly recap. A couple of good trades in there today, and overall in this market, not a bad day from Holly. And let's go racing. I videoed. I actually didn't just capture a screenshot. I did kind of a time-lapsed video today for you of a race that I ran, and I think you guys are going to find definitely find some value in it. I'm going to show you a few stocks that if you're just looking at a top list, you wouldn't have seen these things. So I'm finding value in it, and I think you're going to see the same. And hopefully that'll be out coming to you guys here in a couple of weeks. All right, and then we're going to talk a little bit about gauging the internals for weakness in the market. Even though SPY's had a good day today, I am seeing a lot of weakness throughout the marketplace, and I'm just going to show you some quick ways you can just look at your tickers and using a high-low ticker and looking at using our filters to basically kind of get a feel for the market internals and how strong / weak it is at the time. But let me go over the 5-star support, education, and training for the new people in here. Okay, guys, we have a vibrant community of traders. All right, and a good handful of them work here at Trade Ideas. All right, we're not just people that came off the street. We're longtime traders, successful traders at that, and been at it a while. And we provide education, webinar support webinars to help you with the software, to help you with your trading. First and foremost is probably the traders room there with open every day. I'm sure most of you guys are in there, but if you haven't been in there yet, it is free for everyone. You do not have to have a Trade Idea subscription. I believe we show you a slide maybe we don't, but anyway, it's just hit us up and we'll get you in the traders room. And then we have an array of webinars throughout the week. We don't do them every day like we used to because we actually just got burnt out after 5 years of content. It just, boy, you start really, reaching. But anyway, we have two every week on Monday and Wednesday, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So and then the support webinar. This is a great place, guys. We take over Barry's live stream every day at 12 Eastern time. That's Monday through Friday. And that's a great place to come. Just if you're not in the trading room using the YouTube live stream, just sign in right here, trade-ideas.com/live. That will get you directly in there. Just save the page and you can go to it whenever you want to. All right. I'll save this for Scott on the way out, and let's talk stocks here, and let's talk the market. And let me find a good edge here so I can expand this for you. And all right, guys, yesterday, and we've seen this before. I know people are thinking, okay, same song, same dance. We sell off, things look dire, we close below the 50, and the next day we'll just rally back with the green candle. And you know what? I don't blame people for thinking that. It's been a buy the dip market for 14 years now. Why shouldn't it continue? And if you're playing that, hey, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But boy, I have noticed if it's not the stocks in favor on any given day, the other ones can get crushed, and that's what makes it tricky in this market. We've talked about this rotational market, and it continues. All you got to do is look at the day and see what the strong sectors were. Look at this daily. I mean, that's about as ugly as it gets. Oil, OIH is still below all their moving average. That was strong. HX, the home builders have been pretty strong. So I'm not gonna knock that. Obviously, um, it's been a strong sector. It just seems like all asset prices are doing very well. So the home builders are going to benefit from that. The banks, not too great there, still below its 10, 20, and 30. So when I see that, not a lot of leadership on the board as far as stocks. IYR doesn't look bad, but that's a real estate REIT. It's not going to be a huge mover in the market a lot of times. And of course, energy has just kind of been crazy all over the place lately. But getting back to what I was talking about, might we just go back to highs, have a Christmas market through January? Absolutely, we can. But I think it's important, guys, to be on your toes. Anytime you start seeing action like this, because I've been trading a long time. I've been through some bear markets, and a lot of traders that haven't been, when it does hit, they're a lot of times they're a deer in the headlights, and they can sit through a lot of pain before they finally had enough and exit. For you day traders, I'm not talking about, well, I am talking about, because even the tape gets a lot difficult for day traders as well when you're accustomed to playing a lot of this stuff to the upside, and now your moves, you get a lot of head fakes, your moves aren't lasting as long. But I don't have my epic pin up, but I'm not. It's okay. I think you got to watch this level. This was the low going back over here yesterday. We opened pretty much right at. I'm surprised we didn't gap up today. That's what we've been seeing. Maybe after yesterday, gapping up in that ugly move, people were a little bit hesitant this morning, and yeah, so we did get the gap up. We opened pretty much right where we closed, and kind of had a decent, recovered half of that move yesterday, and we got back above this level right here, which we broke down from. I'll just draw. This is kind of what you might want to kind of put a price alert on. If we fall back down below that, there's a good chance we're going to be going back down through the 50s. So if you are kind of gauging the directional, I guess the short-term direction of the market, you might want to put a price alert right there. That was our previous high before we broke out and then fell down through it real quick. So that's a key pivot line right there that you might want to mark up. All right, let's take a look at the Qs. And pretty much the same story. I mean, you have your breakout right there. Obviously, we're below, excuse me, above our 50 there, but still below our, because kind of no man's land right here for the Qs, much like the spiders. So I think you need to watch the action here for the next couple of days. Dow had that big move yesterday from highs to lows, big ugly green candle. I mean, red candle did about the same thing, recouped most of it actually, but still, it's kind of more of a mess there in diamond land. But Jamie, that's about it. Oh, IWM, yeah. Let's not forget this, because this has the potential of being. And I'm glad I thought about this. Remember how this ranged forever? Okay, and I'm just going to set my little cursor there so you can see. Had a nice range from there to there for a whole year. We ranged there. We broke out, and boy, this could be your typical bull trap. Okay, you break out of a major channel there, and boy, everybody's excited, and boy, what do? Just almost a TP, boom, straight back down. Now we're back below all our moving averages. Not as much strength today in the IWM, so you kind of want to watch this. If I'm this is what I'm looking, if I do get short, maybe in the term, maybe I'll get some TZA. But boy, if we struggle here, and I'm even thinking if we get a bounce up to these moving averages, I may put on a short here, a fade in the IWM, because that is not what you want to see if you're bullish. It's called a bull trap there, where you went up and boy, we came almost down here close to the low end of the channel. So keep an eye on the IWM. All right, Jamie, I'm going to ask if you have any input while I get a drink of water here. And
No, but just seeing a little volatility come into play, which isn't necessarily a
mm,
bad thing, but definitely have to be on your toes.
I'm glad you brought that up because keep an eye. If you don't have a futures account and you don't have the VIX futures, you can keep an eye on the VIX. And even though we had a good decent bounce back today, typically what I've seen in this market anytime we have a move like this is this would retrace all the way down close to lows of yesterday. Kind of held up today. Didn't give a whole lot back. So that's always is something when the market gets like this I'm looking at, because I've seen markets where, let me say, where we were pulling back, maybe even over here. Let's take a look at VIX on October. Okay, well, we're close we're close to where it was back on October. So, uh, when the spies were actually much lower. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Okay, that's some actually relative. I would call that relative strength in the VIX compared to where we were in October. Okay, we just had a nice bounce, and boy, they didn't pull back much. So keep an eye on that. All right, Jamie. Um, if you don't have anything to add, you're free to take it over and talk a little bit about Holly.
No problem. Let me grab the screen here.
All righty.
All right, you should have eyes on my desktop now.
I do.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, kind of a mixed bag today for Holly, or the AI, I should say. If we look at the different risk modes and the profits, not bad, but during the day, these numbers were a bit higher. Some of these trades were up and then pulled back. So we'll take a look at those as well. But all in all, not a bad day. Interestingly enough, conservative is the king at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, and in this volatile market makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm. I think it was yesterday too, Jamie.
Yep. So let us take a peek at some of these trades. Um, Interestingly enough, we had some repeats, and even KR was long and short as well, but the first signal was the long signal. So let's take a look at that one first. Let me resort by moderate profit. Okay, so just in case we got some new people in here, want to give a quick blurb about what do we look for in the AI during the day to try to, maybe leverage some of these plays. And typically, when the AI makes a exit in conservative mode, we can always see, the reason it got out right here under exit reason. This is all conservative mode. But sometimes we see that exit being made and we think to ourselves, doesn't really look like I should get out now. I'm going to take a little bit more risk, try to make a little bit more. And a lot of the times we have at the end of the day, larger numbers in the moderate profit column than we do in conservative. Now you can see today, it's pretty non-existent. I mean, there's a hair here, a couple of bucks in this trade right here. So it's not even really worth looking at. And that's why conservative has pretty much won out at the end of the day. Now, the other topic, there's three topics actually. Is there any, could we have, harvested any of this spread during the day? Non-existent, so not an issue today. Were there any good add-on opportunities once we see the AI make the call? And there were some good ones. The KR is a good example. Now, I've got this, we're looking at 5-minute candles here, okay? 15 minutes, you can't see this little area really well. But when you're looking at a smaller time frame, get a little bit more candles in here and you're like, ooh, I like what it's doing up here. So we're taking the first signal here, which was the buy initially right here. Now, also notice what we're looking at over here to the left, the pre-market area. So a range break is a range break. I've been keeping my eye a lot more on these pre-market levels as well, and just happened to perfectly coincide with the first Holly buy signal there. We get a nice little leg up, start to curl up a little bit right here. Makes for a really good add opportunity. And I had an arrow up here on the 15-minute time frame, but it doesn't carry over. So this little area right here, after it takes a little break, gets nice and tight. was a great opportunity to add to that position before you get the higher moves of the day. Of course, a nasty little pullback all the way to that area, but notice how it acts as support before hitting that last high of the day, which was even a smidge higher than the prior high. So a really nice add-on opportunity in the KR right there. Sorry, I got a sticky button over here, ladies and gents. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Also, add on in RDSA as well, based around that pre-market range. Then we got the signal right here from Holly, nice and early in this candle right here, around about the 43, actually $43.01. And this trade just motors up nicely, gets right up here to the 43.50-ish level. And what do we notice over here? Start pecking at that pre-market range, takes a few pecks, and then heads higher for the rest of the day, the majority of the move. So right here would have been a great little add opportunity anywhere in this area right here. You know, this one gave you plenty of time to react, a little pullback back down to it before finally just heading off to highs on the day. So whether it's a nice little tight area in the regular market, or whether it's the pre-market, or in this case, a little bit of both, right? So nice add-on opportunity for RDS.A as well. Now the other double signal that we had today, of course, these were both in the same direction. The Kirk, just two different short algos identifying it, but let's take a look at the first entry, which was about 50 minutes into the open here. And this is the one that vacillated pretty good because we can see the Holly sells coming in right here, and we can see in conservative mode, she didn't do the best job at covering these things, you know, in a profit save. Ended up losing just a hair on one and flatting. We could pretty much just call those flats, $6 on a $100 risk. But what we can't see in these columns right here is the potential that, you know, was there, because from these covers right here, this is about a point move right here. Doesn't look like that big of a move, but here we are up here at the entry line, 1477. Actually, I misread that, about a half a point. So what was our low there? Looks like about, well, my metrics disappeared there. So what do we have there as a low? 1420, so about half a point. I misspoke there, but still not a bad percentage move compared to what she booked in profit save. You know, once you got down here and we just flatlined right at that area, you'd probably have to really start thinking about pulling the plug on it, right? And once again, a couple of these patterns today at these key areas, there was plenty of time to react. You just notice it's not really moving down anymore. So 50 cents of potential in there. Holly not making the most timely exits. So there was a little intraday conservative versus moderate spread, but it just didn't stick around for the close. Third thing we like to talk about typically is any stocks that were stopped out. How do they act around the stop area? Could we have potentially, you know, played those areas if, in this case, that's the KR. So I'm not really going to look at that one because it was mixed in with the long from earlier. But this ERF, boom, gets, you know, we're in the money for a little bit. This was another one that was in the money for a little while, not by a whole lot, 8 cents or so, before finally getting stopped out. Didn't act nice up here. Okay, if we would have stayed below that stop area, maybe wicked above it a few times, maybe would have taken a second stab at that. The old second mouse gets the cheese, but you know, it was just all over that area above it a lot. So not really any good trade arounds to be had from stopped out trades today, but some really good add-on opportunities in the RDSA and the KR. Andy, anything that I missed that you're seeing
No,
there?
I think you hit it. That KR and that RDS, but definitely the best, the better of the bunch. But it's a great example of, cutting your losses and letting your winners run, and that's the whole key of successful trading. So
Very good. Okay, let's see. What was Mike asking me up here? Share the scan for the alert window dealing with halt and resume tickers. Sure, Mike, I'll drop that in the chat for you. And Andy, here
okay.
comes the
All right.
baton back to you.
All right, let me squeeze back in my SPY chart here. And there we go. All right, guys. So yeah, you've heard us talking a little bit or maybe a lot about the new car races that we have, and I know a lot of people probably think, oh, that sounds kind of childish, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of people are going to love it. Even a veteran, grizzled out trader like myself, I'm finding some value in it because it really gives you a perspective that you're not accustomed to. I mean, let's face it. I mean, pretty much a lot of your scanning softwares. I mean, we by far have the best real-time alerts, but everything is kind of in the classical grid format, and that's just what we've been accustomed to looking. Anytime we're looking at scans and alerts and in windows and stuff like that, and for most people, it is a very efficient way to display stuff, and obviously alerts, you want them coming through in real time. So there's definitely incredible value there when you have them, popping up on top and live. But a lot of things that are happening within your alerts and your top list, okay, especially some of the stuff, that's further down in your top list, you're not really seeing what's going on. Let's face it, you can only visualize and obtain so much when you're looking at all this data, on your screen. So I am finding that these races really really cuts through all the clutter and kind of gives you a better idea of what's really happening, underneath it all. So let me show you what I did today. And I ran this about 3 times. I only recorded the last one, which was around 11 o'clock my time. So it was, 3.5 hours into the day. So, probably not the best stuff we're going to be looking at, but there were still a lot of diamonds in the rough, if you will, that I found in here. So these are basically just stocks that are strong from the open. Okay, remember how I did a webinar 2 weeks ago saying that change from the open is greater than change from the close? Because a lot of times you're looking at change from the close, the stock could have gapped up 30%, and you're seeing it, it's taking up, if you're searching for good longs and you have this stock on here that's down 15% since the open, I mean, really it's just clutter that you really don't need to see. So change from the open is going to give you a better idea of what's happening since the bell rang, what's strong since the bell rang. So I have these segmented $1 to $10, $10 to $30, and $10 to $70. I have another one over here, but I didn't run it today, the above $70. So I'm just going to fire it up here and bring it up because now I have a dev version where we have 20 cars per race. Okay, so what is this doing? Okay, basically those windows I just showed you, it's taken the top 20 based upon my sorted column here, change from the open, and it's racing them. And I believe I had this set for 15 minutes. So when I start the race, it's going to take from the time I start, and it's going to show me which ones are performing the best on a percentage basis from the time I started it, and it's going to show the race for 15 minutes. Okay, so let me just fire it up, and so you guys can actually just see it in action instead of seeing like a clip or something like that for something. So I did have to, like I said, kind of stop, pause, and start it up again. But like so you can see now I'm already on 2 minutes. But this is kind of what you're seeing now. Remember, this is 3.5 hours into the open. Okay, so the open's probably going to be a lot more active as far as cars moving. Okay, so it's kind of the slow time of day, but there was still, like I said, some opportunity here, and I'm going to show you here, and I'm just going to let it run. So you guys, I mean, I think it's only 2 minutes of my time. So kind of give you an idea. The first thing that I noticed today was this STRN here in a few minutes. It's going to just really kind of just shoot up. There's ESSC. We know that one was strong all day, but check this out, okay? So this is Stern, and I tweeted this out today, STRN. Okay, this just kind of really shot up, you know, compared to the other ones during this time I was running. So I pulled it up. Obviously, all I had to do is double click on my race here, and let me get these out of the way now. It gave me a beautiful entry here. I would have not have seen this, okay, because it on my Master Blaster or Extreme Volume, it did not have the volume to reach that. But look at this volume bar, and it fired off. When I saw it coming through the race there, I looked it up, and it was at 411. And I said, "Wow, this is really interesting looking, you know, chart here." Unfortunately, I got tied up during this time, and I didn't get to trade it at the time. But I do want you to just notice this beautiful little setup here as it's breaking through this high and is doing it on nice little volume. And look at it, pulled back on no volume, and then had another move right here. Well, I can promise you, I went and looked at these things on my top list, and it was nowhere near the top of change from the open. This was somewhere down the, you know, around the 10th or 11th position. I would not have seen that on a top list, but because I have this race going, it's showing me, boom, something is happening here in this STRN. There's another one that was doing well today that I wanted to point out to you, and that would have been in this one. Yeah, Apron. Okay, so Apron started moving, and once again, I pulled that one up. Now this one is going to be another case of if I would have ran this for you an hour earlier, you would have seen this same action. I did run it. Unfortunately, I did not record it. So let me hit it on pause real quick and show you what Apron was doing at that time. Okay, that would have been this right here. It came across, I remember pulling it up, and it was 1133. Okay, then it had a nice little pop out of that, went sideways, and you can see closed on high there. Now, unfortunately, like I was saying, what you did not catch is I had the same race going during this time frame right here, and like I said, I'm sorry I didn't record then. I decided later in the day, hey, I need to record this for the group. But anyway, that had a nice little pop, and you would have caught it right here at 1110. Once again, the change from the close was not big, but because I have it in the race, I knew that it was outperforming all my others on my top list. I would not have seen that anywhere else. Now let me show you exactly what I'm talking about so you guys will kind of get what I'm talking. Let me pull up the one, excuse me. Why do I have, there it is. All right. So we see Apron in there right now, okay? So now I want to show you, and this is kind of where it would have been had you seen it in here, okay? If you're just seeing these numbers moving around, you're not catching that with your naked eye, okay? I'm telling you, I know how a trader looks at stuff, and you're not seeing these numbers move around. But if you see them in a car, you're going to see them a lot easier as they outrun the other cars. So let me go to the time frame here, and I'm going to go to historical date, and I'm going to put it on about 10. Let's put it on about 10:25 a.m. this morning, where I was showing you that move right there. Okay. All right. So look at there. There's Apron. All right. And now it would have started earlier in the race. I should have put it probably about 10 minutes earlier. But you would have seen this little pop here, and you would have seen, if you're running the cars, you would have seen Apron out in front of everybody else. Okay. But if you're looking at the top list, you're not looking at this. You're not seeing Apron change. You're just seeing some numbers juggle around, but you're not catching the visual like you're going to do with cars. It's just amazing. And I know a lot of the traders here we kind of giggled at first when we saw this coming in, because we're old school. We like looking at, you know, high low tickers and things like this. But boy, the more the more I play around with this, the more I am seeing the value, because like I said, it's just not data that you can gather from a top list. And you can see as it runs further and further here, Stern kept going. I believe apron, it may have stalled out, because I think it did stall out in the thing. So yeah, it did kind of pull back a little bit there, which wouldn't have been the case if I'd have ran it earlier. But anyway, I hope this is making sense to you, because here's what you can do. I mean, you can run anything you want to. I kind of like the way I'm running it now, but like I said, you can do it on relative volume if you want to, a percentage of relative volume, so you can see stocks where volume is coming in on a top list. And there was the finish, and Stern did win. ARGG was, and I'll tell you, another one was on there that it didn't perform well, but I saw it on another. It didn't perform well during this time frame, but I'm going to show you this. ARDX was a beauty, and I think I was running it once again right in this level. No, that would have been that I ran it right before that move right there, but maybe it was this one. Anyway, I saw it in the morning, and it had just a beautiful move there in that ARDX. So I'm going to be experimenting around more and more with this, and here's what our goal is, guys. What our goal is, and it's going to take some time, but we're going to have like a circuit. We're going to have like a channel where these races are going to run automatically for you, so you will not have to do all this romance that I'm having to do, where you have to pull up all these top lists and right click. I mean, you want to do that at first because you want to understand how it works, but eventually what we plan on doing is having like a channel just for the circuit, just for the races, where we can put these different top lists in there and just run them automatically for you. Yeah, you know what, Jacques, I don't, if I had to guess, okay, this is my second dev version that I'm working with, and 20 cars, so we're at the 20 cars max, which was probably what you're going to get. So man, I'm really hoping, within the next 2 weeks, but I can't make any promises. It could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, but just by my experience of watching these guys and how they spit them out to us first so we can work through all the bugs, my experience tells me it's hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, you're gonna lie, it's gonna be fun. It's I'm just finding more and more, opportunity with it each and every day, and I'm looking forward to actually start trading some of this stuff. All right, let me show you something interesting today. We'll put the races aside until maybe next week. I'll have some more stuff to show you with that, because I'm really excited about it. This is what I noticed today. Let me take this is my extreme volume high-low pro. Typically in a bull market, this thing is going to be predominantly green. Probably 70-30, 70% of it's going to be green, 30% is going to be yellow, which are stocks that are moving down on big volume, and they have to be down 1%. I know most of you guys have access to this, and I know many of you use it. The up volume is stocks that are moving up and up at least 1%. And today, boy, I noticed market was going up, but you look at this thing. All I saw pretty much all day coming through this is yellow, a little bit of green there, but I would say probably this is more like 90% yellow, stocks moving down on extreme volume versus stocks moving. Look at that. There was a lot of stuff getting crushed today, and a little bit of green there, but man, for the most part, it was all yellow. When I start seeing, there's my darling Neo that luckily I wasn't in, but I was in XPEV, and luckily I got out early enough today where I didn't get killed. But when I start seeing things like this, it tells me, it's like, boy, I know the market's kind of inching up right now, and I know there's some strong sectors out there that on the daily don't look very good, but I'm seeing a lot of internal weakness. So It's something that I will, keep an eye out. A lot of people will use what's called a high-low ticker. Steve does that. He has just a high-low ticker, and basically all it is a new lows and new highs. He uses that for his alert, and he doesn't use any filters. Okay, so he does use a volume. I'm sure a volume filter, but other than that, it's just basically just shows you got a running stream of stocks hitting highs and stocks hitting lows. Another way you can do that, and I do this quite often, I will just pull up a T window. No, I'm sorry, you can pull up any window. I'm gonna pull up an A window. Okay, and let's take a look at change from 50. Okay, this is your change from 50-day SMA. Typically on a daily time frame, okay, if a stock is below its 50-day moving average, it's considered kind of weak on the daily chart. If the stock's above it, it's considered strong. So let's just put this filter in here, and we're just going to add the filter. And what you can do is just put 0. Put 0 on the minimum. That's going to show you, how many stocks are above their 50-day SMA. And you're saying, well, how's it going to show you that? Well, all you got to do is click on the Show Me button, okay, and hit histogram. And when you do that, it's going to give you the count of the number of stocks, which is above 9,000 that we have now, because I don't have any other filters in here. Okay, so this is looking at big cap, small cap, mid cap. It's looking at everything in the market, which is I think probably almost close to 10 now. At least. Well, here's how we can do it. We can scroll this bar back this way, and you can watch the numbers change. Okay, there you have it, about 9,400, and so about 30% of them only is above their 50 SMA. Now, obviously, we have a weighting in most of our indices, like the SPYs and the Qs. They have a big weighting. That favors a lot of your big stocks. Naturally, they're going to be all high above their. I shouldn't say all of them, but the majority of them are probably going to be above their 50-day SMA. But it can tell you right now, because even though the market is not far from all-time highs, we're definitely seeing some weakness in the majority of the stocks are below their 50-day moving average. So that can be a way kind of to gauge. You can also use position in range if you wanted to. So let's throw in. Well, let me take that out before I forget. And we could do position in. Let's just do position. We'll do year range and see what happens. Year range, add filter, okay, and you can put whatever you want to in here. If I did 50, okay, and go to my show me button, it's going to show me the price is at least 50% above the low end of this range. So let's say you want to see what percentage of the stocks out there are actually below, their halfway point on their yearly range. Go to the histogram, and you're basically looking at way more than half, or I'd say probably 60%, 65 maybe, are below their halfway point of their 50, their yearly range. So they're in the lower portion of their yearly range. So, that's another thing you can kind of keep an eye on, look at. Come back here and put this on. I could have just changed by using this. See what percent are in their upper 25% of their, and not very many. So not very many at all. Just about, gosh, 20% or less maybe, or above their, in their upper 25% of their yearly range. So there's a few boats out there that are really, floating on the high seas. Some of them, a lot of them are sinking. So just keep that in the back of your mind, okay, when you're trading. It just when you want to get a feel for the overall market, because I know it's tough right now. I can see, because some of the, today I had a few positions, and it wasn't much, but market was going straight up, and these things were tanking. So it just, you got to be on the right stuff on the right day. So just if you want a kind of a general feel of what the internals are doing, just do these little tricks like that, and you can tell a lot just by your tickers as well. All right, Jamie, do I need to hit anything out there? Let's see.
You have a request for that sector analysis top list window.
All right, I will give it to you, and I'll also have to give you a symbol list that you're going to have to put in. Okay, so if you don't know how to do that, just send us an email to info@trade-ideas.com, and we can send you a little short video to show you how to build a symbol list. All right, so let me go ahead and share this now. Yeah, it's nice to have a sector analysis. It really is. I mean, and the reason is that you want to know what you're jumping into. You see something going to highs, and all of a sudden you look down here and you see it's at the very bottom, of your sector analysis. In other words, the sector is weak. Maybe you don't want to buy that stock at highs. All right, let's save and share to the cloud.
And while you're doing that, Andy, I think it was Ranjit was asking. He was asking, how do we get to these windows? But if you could tell us exactly which windows you're referring to, we could either drop the cloud links or tell you the channel to go to get those.
He may be talking about those windows that I was showing, the up from change from open.
Right.
Okay.
Or
yeah,
it could have been Master Blaster or High-Low Pro.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
But I was a
let
little
us know.
confused there.
Yeah, I can share my whole layout with you. If you want, but unfortunately those windows I just pulled up today, they're not in my whole layout. Let me go ahead and do the symbol list real quick for the person who asked here. Symbol list, and it's going to be sector ETFs. All right, I'm gonna drop those into the chat as well, and you can just copy and paste those into when you create your symbol list. And like I said, if you don't know how to create the symbol list, now I can show you real quick, but I'm not sure if you're gonna just go to symbol list and you want to create new list and just name it and call it sector ETFs. And then after you do that, you are going to, it's going to pull up. Now let me just do it. I'll do test 22 here. And just go down there, and it's going to be empty. And what you want to do is just highlight it, right? And you're going to edit list, even though it says empty. And that's where you're going to paste those symbols I just gave you. You're going to paste them in there and just click OK. And now you're going to have your sector ETFs. And what you want to do once you do that is go to configure in your sector analysis window that I shared for you. And you want to go to symbol list, add existing list, and it's going to be over here, whatever you named it. Click on it, it's going to move it over here, and just check it like that. And then that way it's going to follow your list. If that was too much for you in this short, brief time, just send an info and we could send you a little video how to do it. Let me go ahead and just remove this. I think I have a lot of tests in here, like my last. All right, delete list. Okay. Did we ever find out in which channel we can find Extreme Master Blaster and Extreme? Okay, here's what you can do. All you got to do is go to the channel bar. If you don't have one open, just go to new and just don't do dock channel bar, because I did not have enough room to put all of our favorite windows in that docking window. It's a little bit quirky to put that many windows in there. So just go to channel bar where it says C to launch one, and after you launch one, just go to Traders Vault, and when you get to Traders Vault, they're all going to be in there. There's Extreme Master Blaster and there's Extreme High-Low Pro. And here's what you want to do. You want to expand it out, okay, to the size you're going to use it on your layout, and then you're going to go to What I like to do is go to properties and take it off small borders so you can see what kind of window it is. It's a multi-strategy window. And then after you do that, you just come down here and you just click save, and that will save it to your cloud. Once you have it saved in your cloud, then you can just pull it up from your cloud. I hope you got that. Okay, great. Super. And there's a lot of good windows in there, guys, so take a look at them. You might find them useful. Layout. All right, let me see. I don't think I had any other. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Low ticker stocks above key levels, gauging. Yeah, I think I got it. But yeah, keep an eye out the racing, guys. I really think a lot of traders are going to find it helpful, because like I said, you can kind of cut through a lot of the noise that you're seeing on your top list and easily find what's moving at that time just by running a race. So hey man, if you have an old, like I said, veteran trader like myself excited about it, that means it's good. And all right, well, we don't have anything else. If some of you guys want me to look at some charts for you, I'll be happy to do that. If you got some charts you want to look at, if not, we can just call it a short day here. But I'll be happy to go over a few charts for maybe 5 minutes if anybody has anything to look at. Would like to see how you can use strength alerts on a weekly basis. Okay, good question. Okay, so the strength alerts, I have actually a window on here that will update me every Monday morning when they came out. And Apron's been having a real good day. I mean, Apron, let's go back to the night you got this on Sunday night. Today's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and this is Monday. You got this right here. Okay, and not only that, it looks like it gapped down. If you bought this thing on the open, and I'm not saying buy them all at the open, but this is a very strong looking chart. And I like to just, we have a performance on it based upon buying it at the open and selling it at the I believe it's the close on Friday, or is it Monday, Jamie? Do you know?
Say that again.
The strength alerts. I know the performance is based on buying them Monday morning, but is it to sell them on the close on Friday or sell on the close or open on Monday? I can't remember.
That's a good question. I
Yeah,
can't remember off the top of
yeah,
my head either. And I mean, there's a lot of subjectivity to that, right?
exactly.
But of course, we are marking them in a certain capacity.
We
I'm just
have
like you.
to.
I
Yeah,
can't
we
remember
we,
right
we
now.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do that to get a performance. Obviously, we can't just be judgmental on, or not judgmental, but subjective on where we get in and where we get out. So we have to have it timestamped for our performance. But what I would do is just trade them. I mean, trade them like a stock. When you see something open up, I mean, this one, a lot of people, what they'll do is they will set a price alert, like if it breaks through a high of a range. Okay, you could do that. Set a price alert and just set it and forget it. A lot of people may want to buy pullbacks. If something pulls back to a certain level. Now, this is not very fair because this market was kind of brutal here the first few days of of the week, so I don't think it's fair. But boy, Apron's still doing good. Fusion, this is kind of gappy, something, and you don't have to trade them all. When I see something like that, it tells me it's an ADR, and I don't like trading ADRs because you get these things trade overseas, and then you'll get gap ups the next day. That's just me personally. This is not a bad one. It's MRVI. I mean, this was Monday, and this is one I would have potentially bought above, this. I will trade some of these. I didn't. I mean, this week with the market, the sell-off we had, I haven't traded any of these this time. But to answer your question, I think the best way is just use the chart and trade them subjectively. I mean, you don't have to trade every one. if you see something you good, you know, I mean, come on, apron. That's a beautiful looking chart there. That was a beautiful setup and a beautiful breakout, and it's still continuing. That's a geez 20% move. So uh you know so you got to trade them. Okay, unfortunately, when it comes to any sort of service, I think it's best to use a little subjectivity when you're trading these things. What's the market doing? What's the sector doing? Okay, if you have a gold stock, and GDX has been getting killed, maybe you don't want to buy that one. There's so many things that can go into trading, and it only comes from experience. Learning sectors, learning markets and things like that. But I mean, this is a very these are very strong charts. In other words, when you see them, there's a reason why we call them strength alerts. Okay, because they're exhibiting strength. But I hope that helps you out there. Was it Rachel? Well, no, who was that? Oh, I don't think I can say it. Ranjit. All right, great. All right, uh, Pete BFRI. Yeah, let's look at that. You know what? I was looking at that today, and I was interested in it. But now you see my alert I set up there. Okay. As a matter of fact, I remember telling the guys in the chat, I got my eye on this one. It failed. I mean, what I would do, this high right here, you might go back. I mean, technically you should probably use the high of this wick, but sometimes I like to get a head start. In other words, this has a very low float and can really get moving. It can move if you set alert up here at the high. By the time you see it with this kind of float, it could be up to 750. So I like to set my alerts in something like this, and I have one in that because I found it interesting today. But that's what I would do. I mean, it's just guesswork right now because it looked like it wanted to do a bar reversal today, but it failed. So now you got to see if it's going to attempt and try it again. But to buy it anytime around here, yeah, it's in no man's land, I like to say. All right, SLI. Yeah, this is the little lithium IPO, wasn't it? Didn't come out not now. Let's see how many months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm always a little skeptical until they get out of their a quiet period. I think 6 or 7 months I like to let them trade for because I know a lot of the insiders will be able to sell them, after 6 months. So I have traded that several times back over here when it was forming this nice little cup and handle. I haven't traded it recently. It's pretty gnarly at times, I noticed, but I think right now it's holding its 50 period moving average. I don't know if you're in it or not, but if you were, I would not want it to break this fast line down here at 966 because then you might get some of this more of this action like this ugly candle action. Uh, if you're not, I would almost want it to clear this level, up here, maybe hit a 3-week high. Set your price alert right there. If you're in it, like I said, it's holding up. It's above its 50 and it's 10, right at its 20 looks like, but a lot of that EV sector got hit today pretty good. I love the trade I was in. I mean, luckily I scalped out of this XPEV. I mean, it was just a beautiful looking chart. It's a Chinese, and you got to be working trouble. But boy, that was a beautiful chart. I scalped out half on this day. I think I bought it on this day, but through that breakout after earnings. And then today, boy, just look at that move down. Luckily, I got out today when it broke the fast line there, the 10 period. But boy, that thing took an ugly move. So no, the reason I was bringing that up is I noticed some EVs were showing some weakness today, and of course that lithium is in the EV sector, so keep an eye on that. All right, well, we used up all the time, you guys. Great questions. I'm going to bring Scott in. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm going to bring Scott in, and he will walk us through the rest of the
Slides.
session here. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Slides. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, a couple things just to remind everyone. You can connect Interactive Brokerage account with our Trade Ideas Brokerage Plus to automate your trading and your strategies. And if you have premium, you can also automate AI strategies. So do check that out. You can learn more at Interactive Brokerage by going to tradeIdeas.com/IBKR. Also, we are connected to E-Trade. So if you want commission-free trading and you have an E-Trade account, you can connect Trade Ideas Brokerage Plus to your E-Trade account, trade commission-free, manage your portfolio from within Brokerage Plus, all that kind of neat stuff, just like with Interactive Brokerage. Go to tradeIdeas.com/eTrade to find out how to do that. And we also have a strategy indicators ebook written by Dave Mabe, who is our director of software development. It's free. It's got some good ideas in it to check out. Go to tradeIdeas.com/strategy and get that download. Also, if you're not quite ready for a full Trade Ideas subscription, you can get into our Strength Alerts newsletter. If you like the trade of the week, it's more robust than that. It does cost $17 a month, but you get 5 strategies every Sunday night, 5 trades. So go to trade-ideas.com/strength to learn more about Strength Alerts. And if you want to sign up today and save some money, go to tradeIdeas.com/price and use the code HOLLYROCKS to take 15% off your first month or year of any subscription. You can also use that to do an upgrade. And if you have any questions, you can contact us, info@trade-ideas.com. You can find our YouTube channel at YouTube/TradeIdeas. We also are at Trade Ideas. That one has a typo. I just kind of revamped this slide, so I fixed that now. And at QuantBot is Jamie Hodge, at TISDG is Steve Gomez's new handle, and Facebook.com/TradeIdeasPro is the Facebook handle, so I'll fix that. Oh, it isn't typoed. Okay. Anyways, the recording will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, and you will get an email reminder tomorrow about how to find that. So thank you all. Thanks, Andy and Jamie. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see some of you tomorrow in the support Webby.
See you tomorrow.